Maggie. Hey, Laura Jane here. Excited to be broadcasting live. Getting ready for my friend Rick Harvey to join me. And I'm also going to set this up to include Instagram. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now we're live on Instagram and here on Facebook and YouTube, I believe. So thank you for being here, and I'm going to have my friend coming on here, and that reminds me to turn off the volume here. Yes, so here we are. Instagram, thanks for being here. Facebook, YouTube, thanks for being here. And this is the Is Our Yoga Working conversation series that I've allowed through here and invited some of my people in my midst that I felt like I wanted their input, their perspectives, their thoughts and responses to this question of, is our yoga working? Is it helping us in our lives if we're using things like yoga? And I'm really liking to remind that yoga just means union, to join, to connect. So really I'm talking more just about the vast possibilities in the world of self-care and spirituality. And what's happening there, and is it working for us if we're using these things, if we're getting into these practices and these traditions and such? Is it working for us? So yeah, so we're going to look for Rick to be here on Instagram soon, and here on, we're doing this through StreamYard, which is its own interesting app. So yeah, so let's see what we need to do to make sure we've got. Hopefully Rick will be here soon. I've never done this multiple device thing, so I'm like, which camera do I look at? So Rick and I decided we would just kind of be intuitive about that. So I'm looking for Rick or Richard Harvey. And I guess I could start to tell you about Rick, as we'll assume he's coming on here soon. And yeah, all right, I'm back. So let's see where Rick is. I'm in Long Beach, in my studio here. You'll hear the sounds of life around me. But yeah, I'm here to get into this question of, is our yoga, or anything that we're doing that we call self-care, any things that we're studying, practicing, embodying that we think of as spirituality, is it working for us personally and for how we can help the world? Is it encouraging us to just become more self-absorbed? Or, I got this straight from Matt Kahn in these last couple of days, and this is so right, really what I'm thinking about. Is it about becoming more self-absorbed through these practices? Boy, we're learning here. Okay. There's Rick. Add him to the stream. There we got
Hi.
it. So here
Nice
we
to
are
see
on
you.
the StreamYard. And then now we're going to add you to the Instagram.
Hi.
Here we are.
So it seems like there's a delay going on, Laura Jane.
Yeah, I'm noticing
But
that.
that's okay. I mean, I just turned the volume off on one, so it's not distracting. We'll see how that
Yeah,
goes.
that's what I'm going to try too. That'll help, huh? This is my first time doing multiple devices. So, okay, so I'm adding you to the Instagram too.
Okay. Go live with LJ Muse. LJ Amuse.
We'll see how this goes.
A well-chosen moniker, I have to say. Yeah, it's still echoing. I'm just going to turn the volume all the way off. I don't know if that's going to affect my sound when I'm,
you still sound good right now.
Well, I'm hearing an echo somewhere.
It got better just now when you changed something.
Well, I just turned the volume completely down.
Yeah. Does that mean you can't hear anything?
Well, I can hear you through the other one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I can hear you through Facebook. So.
All right. Okay. We're all checked up and stuff, huh?
We are. And let me see.
We're checked up AF.
Yes. Okay. See, there we go. Okay. So here we are. Is that better? Less echo?
Everyone? Yeah, good.
Okay, good. And my friend Stephanie was telling me that she could hear the echo too. So I think that's better. Okay. So here we are. And I had started to share a little bit of like what I think of what maybe some of my quest is with this series I'm calling Is Our Yoga Working? And not really making it about what we think of traditionally as yoga. But, I like to really remind us that yoga just means anything that helps us join, connect, create union, right? Exactly. And so, yeah, but those of us who are into such things and studying these things and self-care and spirituality, is it working? And a differentiation I really liked in the last 24 hours even that I got from Matt Kahn, who I love, is it helping, is it creating a possibility of becoming more self-absorbed versus maybe self-aware and self-responsible would be the hopeful side of it. So yeah, and I don't really want to be trying to critique anything, but just look at how we can, if we are going to be interested in such things, how can we keep an eye on helping it be about us being connected to the world and even in the energy to help the world, and not about like escaping the world or disconnecting from reality, right, as a way to cope or find peace. So yeah, I thought and knew that it would be awesome to talk to you because I know you've had your own amazing story and journey up until now, with both professionally and personally, and that you also even do currently teach and share about those types of things with teaching Tai Chi and having created your amazing curriculum for young people about, would you say it's like about social emotional development? Is that the way you describe it?
It's kind of yeah, social and emotional development. And I think it's really about, a lot of my processes have been trying to figure out how to get out of my own way. And I'm trying to share all of those hard-earned insights with other people. So hopefully they don't have to go through some of the things that I have. But that's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And will you share? I mean, I feel like you're really good at sharing some of your story and how it's gotten you to what you're doing in the world in a very succinct way. I mean, so are you willing to share with people who are watching now or later some of what's brought you here?
Yeah, sure. I am a 15-year brain cancer survivor, and I was in radiation treatment when I discovered healing through creativity. I have three tenets of what I do. One of them is healing through creativity, one is healing through connectivity, and one is healing through service. And I had a lot of trouble sleeping during radiation therapy. And my wife at the time suggested that I should try writing, and a lot of poems started coming through, and they helped me. I discovered healing through creativity, and a small group of people were looking at them and getting a lot of benefit. And when I was in treatment, I was in a special apartment building up in the main Kaiser complex. I would walk down to the radiation therapy. This is 5 days during the week, and then come home uh, during the weekend. So I walk over, I do my treatment, I come back, and they have me full of steroids, and I was just having a lot of trouble sleeping. Is what happened. You have a lot of energy going through your system like that with the, X-rays that they put into you and the drugs that they put in you to make sure you don't have seizures. And so I began writing, and then that helped me. And then I would befriend people in the hallway, and just we would support each other. And I began sharing the poems, and they helped people and gave us ways to connect. So it's healing through creativity, healing through connectivity, and then just generally the community that came out of that is the service component, just being able to help people. And I know that for me, it was nice to have something come through and give me a way to express, but service is more purely nourishing for me than many other things. Even, I don't know, it's kind of hard to weigh writing or creating or being of service. They're all kind of great ways for me to express my true nature and hopefully my best self. So that's how I started doing this. And then I began doing workshops back in 2008. And it's evolved, and I created curriculum. Originally, I was working with cancer patients. And then I began working with veterans, recovering veterans, using the same material. And I began working with at-risk youth. And before I got sick, before I got the brain cancer, I was working with at-risk youth. So it's I have an affinity for that.
Yes, and a heart for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just really love being with people that when they're ready to be there for themselves, I'm ready to help. That's how I want it to be. You can't force somebody to do something they don't want to. I mean, I guess you can, but who wants to, So, so that's the background, I guess. I have a book called 20 Poems, 20 Paintings, A Creative Warrior's Journal. And I recently created a curriculum called Dreamsmithing, A Creative Warrior's Journey. And I put it into a book intended for at-risk youth, but it's really applicable for a lot of different demographics. I mean, it's getting out of your own way is that's pretty much from, I don't know where that would start. I mean, I don't know when we start getting in our own way, but it's probably pretty young. We keep getting better at it.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking that too, like, oh, is it really just for young people? And then I remember you and I talked about, as you described it helpfully for, Veronica was saying that there's a lot of feedback when you're speaking, but maybe you do have headphones on. Huh.
Is this any better, Veronica? I just see the thing is I have an echo.
This is on Instagram. Do you have you have your headphones for Instagram or for Veronica? We're trying 2 platforms today because after doing this with you yesterday, I realized it'd be nice to have a better version on Facebook. So you and I will have to do more where we can do both, but this is a little exciting with the sound. We're figuring that out.
So are you, did that help at all, Veronica, or? Because I hear an echo.
She says, we hear you twice.
Yeah.
They hear you twice. I don't know how to fix that either. I'm glad they don't hear me twice.
How's that? Nope, it's still echoing. I don't understand because I've shut the sound completely off. I guess it won't completely go silent. Well,
All right. Well, we can try to
Yeah.
look more. And then if it turns out that it's really bad, then I could just try uploading this version to Instagram. I might be able to. Thank you, Veronica. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to do to fix
Thanks
this.
for bearing with us, and
I
we're
wonder
all
if
learning. Yeah.
I wonder if it's on my end. It probably could be, like if they're picking up the sound from my phone, hearing you from my phone there. Maybe it's that kind of thing. I wonder.
Well, as you're getting it closer to your face, it seemed like it was echoing a little bit in my ear, so I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Thanks for hanging in there, guys.
Yeah.
Well, and oh, I was going to say that really we could say a lot of youth, we could say, are at risk in a
Especially
sense
now, yeah.
for a lot of things. And you and I were talking about this before the last 5 or 6 months of quarantine and all the awareness that's come up with the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And just all the feelings that we've all been through. So to think even more so, and what's happened in the schools, right? For the school kids, like, so yeah, more than ever, a lot of kids are at risk for, if anything, potential mental health challenges. Not, I mean, just so that we would just like, what can we do to be aware of this and help them? And I love that your curriculum brings forth that wisdom to whoever goes through it, that it's all three of those C words that are part of having maybe a more fulfilling, healthy, happy life, right? And so the feeling connected, being in our creativity, and then being in our, what's your C word for the service? I'm thinking contribution, but isn't your C word for that you use? I suddenly
I
forgot.
usually use service, but I'll think about that.
Oh, I don't know why that was.
My brain's
Anyways,
not
yeah,
firing in that direction right now, but maybe
yes.
I'll put it on the back burner and see what comes up.
Well, but I think that that's such an important
Creativity,
point that you bring in.
connectivity, and I'm not sure.
What's
Yeah.
your third one that you usually say though?
I just say creativity, connectivity, and service generally.
And service. Okay, yeah. But yeah, but that's actually such an important part of maybe a full, rich human life. And that's, I feel like the piece maybe that I'm most talking about with this is our yoga working is, are you remembering the service parts, right? Of this happy, fulfilling life that we want. That's definitely one of my questions. And does sometimes our self-care and spirituality kind of get us distracted from ways we could be helping because we get a little potentially self-absorbed? So I don't know, what do you think about that kind of question and wondering? Or do you think that most of us need so much healing and help that the more the better? I mean, what do you think about that?
we vary as people in terms of how self-absorbed we are, and so I mean some people are going to lean towards that, and not even to be judgmental in that, because being self-absorbed could be self-judgmental as well. I mean,
Exactly right.
But it's just a struggle. But if we come down to one of the fundamentals, I'm a Tai Chi and Qigong person, and I understand your affinity or your connection with yoga as a union thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's also a very strong component of awareness, and it's again those things that we are all dealing with in this hugely radically changed world are challenging. You're very good at saying that. I see you saying that all the time when you are doing your talks in the morning, just reminding people that it's a big shift. So that's part of it. So anybody who goes into these things could lean towards being less connected, being about themselves or whatever. But it really, I don't know. I mean, I hope that people are getting the benefit of connecting and being of service, because it's such a powerful healing experience. Oh, I'm getting a sound now, like a
Oh, right.
high pitched sound. I'm not sure.
This is like, maybe it was a little exciting to try this during Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's an adventure. That seems better at the moment.
Yeah. So, let me think. I know that my experience with my community, spiritual tribes, we're all trying to bring a sense of service into what we're doing, and awareness. And we attract people based on what we want to have in our lives. That there's no, I mean, our story is interesting enough. I mean, just meeting at Viento y Agua and having so many things in common. I mean, you attract people based on what kind of vibe you're putting out. So I suppose that's part of the equation as well. But are we getting more self-absorbed? I don't know. I'm not sure what to call it right now. I think right now people are just dealing with all of these stimuli, and it's just, I mean, like when I sit, I wish I could say I was just peacefully hanging out and getting, awareness. Well, I'm getting awareness, but everybody in my meditation group that I've talked with, that I regularly sit with, is having trouble focusing, having trouble, because we're all just dealing with so many things coming at us. You've been very good about making that a part of your conversation. So I think it is, I mean, I think the yoga is working if people are doing it with the intention, even if they're not doing it very skillfully. It's just,
Yes.
it's just like one step at a time, one opportunity at a time. And then hopefully opportunities come up to us to choose to be of service. I had one of those recently that I wanted to share with you. I've been going to the parks and offering Tai Chi with Meetup for almost since the beginning of this. And it's been an exercise in understanding where my ego is, because there are not very many people that come out. I mean, I've actually only had a few people come, but for me, it's also a good opportunity to practice. I love being able to go to the park and practice, and but I kept going. And this Tuesday, I noticed a truck pull up, and a older couple, maybe not older, but they're maybe in their 50s, and got out, and they looked like a young man, got out, and he had a walker, and he was walking. This is in Los Cerritos Park. I was in the northeast corner. I noticed that he was pushing this walker, and he was having some trouble, and I saw the back of his head there's bare patches in his hair. So for me, as a brain cancer survivor, I immediately think that this is somebody who's been through a brain tumor, because, in the back of the head, I mean, usually if you see a bald spot like that, especially if somebody's having trouble just with their basic physical coordination, that's a pretty high likelihood. And interestingly enough, I end up meeting a lot of people who've had brain tumors and traumatic brain injuries. Well, I've been through it. Again, power of attraction, and I end up being of service. Anyway, they're walking away for a while, away from where I'm practicing, and maybe in about a half a mile, the father turns around and he starts walking back, and I decided to go talk to him just to give some encouragement. I again, with the thought that maybe the son had a brain tumor, and I said, I just want you to know it's been 15 years, and I made it, and I used to have a lot of trouble, and I did this practice, this Tai Chi and Qigong to help me get my neural pathways rebuilt. And he said, well, no, he didn't, but he did. I mean, his son had actually had a stroke. He was on meth and he had a stroke. And so he had been in a hospital for a couple of months during this pandemic, just in the process of doing rehab, and they had gotten him out a couple of weeks earlier. And this was part of the ritual, is to go out on the evening in Los Rios Park. Is a very pretty park in the near the metro line in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And they take him and just really be with him and walk with him around the park, and hopefully give him an opportunity to get away from the walker. So they, I invited the father to come practice with me while he was waiting. He had gone back to the truck, and I was just taking him through these different exercises, like there are different things that you can do. It's kind of hard to show, like you can come back, you can reach up, turn your neck different ways, up and down, do different things with your legs, just basic things that you would want to do when you're rehabbing from a traumatic brain injury or a stroke or brain tumor. And I ended up having him, well, we invited the son and the mother to come and join with us. And so really, in terms of people showing up to the class in the last few months, these are the rare people, but definitely the right people. They all participated. I think everybody just felt better. I was able to offer some just kindness, some support, and tell the young man, he was 28, and he had just really kind of hit a major kick to the curb experience, and but here he is out doing his thing, and somebody chooses to invite him to do this class, and then he chooses to participate, and then your yoga is working. I mean, you've got this union, you've got this connection with people. And it also helped me reconnect with, as much as I want to connect with people in this way and serve in this way, it doesn't mean that people are going to be there. I'm not sure why, but that's just the fact that, I have no control over that. I have the option of practicing when I'm there and doing it with gratitude. I've got this opportunity to practice in a beautiful place. So that's what I default to. But if I really, really wanted people to show up, it would be a hard ride. Because if I needed them to show up to be happy with the circumstance. So opportunities are out there for everybody to be of service. And I think that, and to be connected, to be in union. And I think you see that with people. It's just a hard time, and we have to remember this.
No, I don't know why that sound gets going.
I'm just
like
gonna.
They have like a spaceship coming in or something.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So
Instagram.
I took myself off of the Instagram. I just turned it over. I think,
okay. Well, then I guess maybe they can still hear it.
Yeah.
But
and we
won't,
have this. We have this
be able
recording of if you decide you're going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I'll just go ahead and log off Instagram because they won't be able to hear what you're saying. I don't think so. Or I'll tell them. I'm still broadcasting to them.
Well, I could try putting it on again, but I think it's.
It's okay. I mean,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I think the sound has been pretty bad. That's a downer, and which maybe it's just part of the thing. Yeah, no feedback now, but I don't think they can hear. I don't know if they can hear you. It'd be nice if I could have the camera.
I wonder. Are you logged off yet?
I can do that.
Off? Are you logged off?
But then they can't see me. No, I'm still on it because
Okay, let me try and connect with you again, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this into my phone. If I can plug this into my phone, it may just shut off. It may just think I'm defaulting to that. Let me just see. Hey again. Are you getting any feedback?
Oh, Stephanie says she can still hear you. Maybe we should just not have you get on and just keep it that way. Yeah.
Can she
But I
hear me?
actually
Can
have
she hear me echoing, or she can hear you through your phone there?
Yeah, because now I'm like putting my other phone to record us. I think that kind of works.
Okay. Stephanie is our,
Now they can see the
yeah.
StreamYard Facebook broadcast, but I don't know. It's been an
Okay.
experiment with technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, and well,
So
I
what
love
do
that
you,
you seem like someone who really does. Um, I would say, yeah, if I were to judge, that you seem like your yoga or whatever you're doing to keep yourself feeling connected is working, in that you always seem to have the energy to, or often anyways, when I've witnessed it, to be kind and helpful with most people you meet, even just out on a walk, right? And so that's what I'm talking about, is like, what can we be, yeah, how can we be, if we're going to be using these things, how can we make, help ourselves so that we can have the energy to be kind, for instance, whether it's with strangers or people we love or people online, just as an example. Yeah. I mean, what do you think
things,
about that?
things that come to mind are, when they talk about mindfulness, or as our friend Martina would say, awareness, the process is often short times, many times. So I think that could be for kindness as well. And there's lots of opportunities out there to be kind and connected.
Yeah, I
I
like, even that's a perspective to just realize, ooh, there's so many opportunities to be kind, and just to like keep an eye out for those opportunities.
Yeah, what attracted you to yoga and meditation? I mean, just as a
Well,
question. Yeah.
I think because I thought I was coming out of graduate school in psychology, and I knew I wanted to learn more about the mind body connection, and I knew I wanted to learn more about Eastern traditions. And so I gravitated towards yoga as a way to start to do that. And
Yeah.
then I very quickly realized I wanted to teach it and share it, just because that seems to be part of my nature, to want to teach and share things that I'm excited about. And yeah, so that's became the start 20 plus years ago of the ever expanding study and understanding of yoga and what it can be and how we can use it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, it just what I'm asking is more even. I know there's a curiosity, but what did that going down that pathway? What kept you on it?
Mm. Well, I think that is one of the things that I started to see, that it wasn't like this small contained amount of information where you, like, for instance, you might think you go through a yoga teacher training and now you know everything there is to know about yoga. Like, yoga is this vast philosophy and field of study, and even a system of psychology. So when I realized there was so much I could learn, and so many ways to, so many avenues to go, and still I'll know I'll never learn it all. And even now people are inventing new things in the field.
Mhm.
So that, I think, it was an interest, is like, ooh, it's this ever expanding, and that it's really a place to be creative too. If you're someone who's trying to share about yoga, I've loved that. Yeah, but I suppose because it's been something that really has helped me also personally, just manage my
Bingo.
energy, feel better, get myself out of chronic pain, is what got me really diligent with the poses that I use. But what keeps me disciplined too is that I realize how much all my practices of yoga, yeah, manage my energy, manage my mood, and really help me find that union and create it, so that when I'm out in the world in any ways, I'm more that version of me. So
Mhm.
yeah,
What
that's
brought me into meditation? I mean, I was already doing Tai Chi, but what brought me into meditation was a very painful time in my life. I mean, just sitting
mhm.
meditation. Um, I guess I'd always kind of told myself I didn't feel like I had the discipline to sit and meditate. But when I was going through a divorce, I was in a lot of emotional pain, and meditation was the only thing that really worked. So what brought me to it and what kept me there was that it helped and that it made me feel better. And you were saying the same thing. I mean, you were in chronic pain, and it made you feel better in other ways. So
yeah, and I really can see that, and I've gotten even so much more into meditation these last few years, and I'm just as excited about that as I am. I mean, I think yoga and meditation they're each versions of each other, but yeah, for my excitement about the meditation is for sure it's been and continues to be such a form of therapy that I get to do with myself and for myself, and just a way to keep moving through layers of trauma and drama and just really connect more with myself. And yeah, so it's fun too. I love that we can that this conversation is helping us talk about the ways that it does work, right? It's and to see and like one of my current thrills is to talk about how things like yoga help with mental health. That any practices of yoga, whether it's the poses or use of breath or mantra or mudra or things like dancing or walking as forms of yoga, that all of those are such tools for taking care of our mental health. I feel like it's really fun to share as much as our physical health, right? And how much it's also connected. So yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the main motivators for me when I was wanting to do the Tai Chi and Qigong classes in the park. I mean, I just wanted to give people the opportunity just to move their bodies and to connect, even if it's with a face mask on or whatever. I mean, it's just, people are starved for connection. I mean, I think they still are. But what occurred to me when you were talking about, your exploration, your process just a minute ago, was that one of the things I really like about, hopefully I remember this on my own, but most of the people that are guiding us, the senior teachers from inside LA that are involved in the Sunday Sit here in Long Beach, and we see in other places, is they usually ask us to set an intention when we start. When you're talking about how do we bring the service into this, and there's a very service-oriented focus right now in what we're doing in our meditation. I mean, so what is your intention for this meditation? Hopefully it's something based on loving kindness. May everybody be at ease. May they, be happy, be healthy, and feel loved. Whatever it is that you want to give out there, and then you go through the process of the meditation and whatever's going on in your mind. And there's lots of that going on right now. And then at the end, come back to it. So that's something that you can do.
Yes.
Whatever it is. I mean, it doesn't have to be a sitting meditation. It can be whatever you do. It's like, may what I do be of service and make, for all living creatures without exception. No exceptions.
Yeah.
Even Donald Trump.
Right.
All of them. Yeah.
Well, and I just love that that's actually, I think, a good word for what I'm wondering about with this series too, is intention. How much are we being aware of our intentions with these practices, and then to really play with the power of that. So I love that your suggestion there to just bring in and even decide what your intention is each time you do anything that you think is a practice, whether it's take a walk, go in the ocean, do your meditation of any form, right? Or whatever it could be, that you can make it more intentional by actually setting an intention and deciding what you want it to be about for today or this week or this month, and right. And that's a way to help make sure our yoga's working, is to be intentional with it, right? And to find more ways to make it even more intentional. So oh yeah, that is helpful. Yeah, it's like I think I'm still like learning what I mean with this question of, is our yoga working? So I love that I'm getting opened up so much with each of these conversations, and not knowing what to expect. I'm trying to get this angle right. Well, I feel like we've probably had a good amount of time on here, even though we could probably talk for another hour. But is there anything you feel like that you want to say at this time, as we might start to call it towards a close-ish?
I want to say that another thing that we can do to make our yoga work is, I mean, services, on a small level, but showing up for who, showing up for our world, showing up for people, being there. I'm just, like I was saying, I showed up to this empty park. I mean, the park wasn't empty, but a place where people didn't show up, but that's okay. I mean, they had other things going on, but just saying, just show up and just be there for social justice. That's big right now. And I think it also means sometimes being honest with yourself and being willing to risk it's like you don't want to lose people, you don't want to lose relationships, but I think being authentic is pretty important right now. If you can find a way to do it that's not hitting someone over the head with it, it's still it's important to stand for what you believe in. I mean, not what just in terms of social justice, I think, because it's so obviously a need for that.
Yes. And I love that. I think what you emit so much and is a word that seems important in this whole conversation is that compassion is something that it maybe is intended to be something that we're deciding on and feeling and growing with a lot of these practices, right? So
right.
But also, like, I feel like you started this too, even right now, to try not to be judging ourselves or others as a way of being compassionate, because yes, we all have been going through so much, and a lot of us are doing just whatever we can to just deal, right? Because it's been so challenging, especially this year, right?
Yeah.
In so many ways for so many people. So, but that's a version, I think, of our yoga working, is remembering, and whatever we need to maybe do or read or listen to or talk to help us feel more compassionate, right? With ourselves and with others. That's a version of our yoga working. To be aiming for that feeling with ourselves and with others, and to be living in that, right? If we have goals at all in our yoga, that could be one of them.
Yeah, I love that I was wanting to bring that up, mindful self-compassion, as a way of being more able to connect with that union, because that also, if you're practicing it towards yourself, then hopefully you are also getting it, that's how you can help the world in that way, by putting it out there and understanding that all the things that we're dealing with right now, we're all dealing with them together. Just coming back to that togetherness. And really, I mean, you know what? One last thing, okay? Listen. Talk, listen.
Yeah, more listening.
More listening, yeah.
Which really does go with things like meditation and yoga are all about helping us get more in a listening mind, right? And to become more of that observer, whether with ourselves or with the present moment and the world. So yeah, straight up, that's part of this lifestyle, is is to become a better listener all around. And I absolutely agree that it's really hard for us to show compassion for others if we don't have it for ourselves, or just either way, the more we are able to give that to ourselves, probably the more that we have the energy to offer that to others.
So there's a balance of being authentic and, and also being a listener, and being, even if you're hearing a perspective that you profoundly disagree with, it's at least listen, and not be thinking about how you're going to answer right away or something. That's a good relationship skill in general, isn't it? I mean,
Right. It's such a skill to cultivate. I'm realizing I didn't see comments the whole time. I'm not sure if we had any comments, but I'll find out more next time with the
Yeah.
stream. Well, that was an exciting technology jump. And thank you for being willing to try the multiple
Hey.
devices at the last moment. But I think at least one
Yeah,
of
we
them
have
will be a
good
good
chat.
recording. And then, yeah, we're both learning because I know you like to do these kind of videos and interview things too. So we're exploring the platforms. Yeah. And
Yes.
will you share how people can find you if they want to know more, especially because since this will be on YouTube also?
Yeah. I have a YouTube called Creative Warriors Journey. It's '(S) Warriors Journey. I've done recently done videos there to document the creative activism that came up after the looting and violence of the end of May. Such a wonderful experience to go out and meet people who showed up and really gave just because they wanted to help. So that's on YouTube. It's also on Instagram at Namwa Nomo, NAMHOA NOMO 8323. And I also have a website, Creative Warrior Ventures. I'm going to be doing a workshop next weekend on Saturday called Find Your Alive, Exploring the Language of Freedom. So we've been focusing on the fundamental phrases of loving kindness practice. May I be happy, may I be well, may I be peaceful, may I be free. And we began after the pandemic started, so we began with well. Usually you'll start with happy. And then we went to peaceful after all the, violence and looting. And then we're going to free. And then we're going to go happy at the end. Because if, we want to help people be free, it's just like kind of hard to be happy if you're not free. So the idea, and we're really trying to build a lot of language exploration into it and make it it's about the genius of the community. Because we as a community, we never know when we show up for something what we're going to find. I mean, we may know kind of what we're going to do, like I'm going to help with some voter registration at the end of the month. I'm going to help with some gardening tomorrow after I have breakfast with our friend. I don't know what I'm going to find there, but there's some kind of genius that when you get together in a group, and I'm sure you're well aware of this I've seen the stuff that you've done with your groups. You don't know what people are necessarily, that where their mind, what the trajectory is, but you don't know what they're going to say or how people are going to react. But there's going to be learning on a universal level with the group. So that's how part of it is it is a kind of a guided process, but the idea is that we're all bringing wisdom to it, and if we put it together, everybody benefits, and so that's how we do it. Maybe if I don't know, like back when we did peaceful, somebody who doesn't know what it's like to feel peaceful, I can help them find it in their past, but they can also find it through people who are talking about peacefulness and what being in a peaceful state feels like to them. We tend to do a lot of somatic work, a lot of body work.
Okay.
Try to relate whatever our objectives are to how can you use the sense doors. If you can get the sense doors involved, then it makes it more, I think it's more accessible, more relatable
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully, I hope you can make it. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the schedule, but it sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for being open and ready for this technological adventure.
Yeah.
And and we made it through with the sounds, but it was a great conversation. And yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you making time for it, Rick.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's always nice hanging out with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. I will close up here then with Instagram and and then I'll close up here on StreamYard. So good to
All
be
right.
with you, Rick. And thank you all for being here with us, whether you're here live or catch this later. And we'll see you soon. All right.
All right.
Bye. Namaste.